Hello, folks. Welcome into HuPAC Talk. This has been quite the hiatus, I must say, and I would like to begin by extending a belated congratulations to the Oklahoma City Thunder for winning their first championship in franchise history over the zestless Indiana Pacers. This Game 7 was an absolute heartbreaker. Last Sunday night, it appeared as if we were set to have our first instant classic since the 2016 NBA Finals in Game 7 when the Cavs took down Golden State. But no, because of course not. We can't have nice things, can we? After starting 3 of 4 from the field and appearing to be shaking off his propensity towards slow starts, Tyrese Halliburton, Indy's zesty star, tore his Achilles. Fell balling to the floor, and the rest was history for the Indiana Pacers. This will likely take him out, not only for, well, as it did for the final game of that series, but also probably for the majority of next season, joining the likes of Damian Lillard and Jason Tatum in an Eastern Conference which is looking increasingly wide open. Very interesting to see what's going to happen next year, what with teams like Orlando possibly gearing up, securing a player in Desmond Bane, who I think did not warrant the absolute wealth of 4 first-round picks and Cole Anthony and Kentavious Pope that were sent to Memphis for him. But you do what you got to do, and when you're desperate, as Orlando apparently is, you give away that much for Desmond Bane. A solid player, but not quite that level. Anyway, it looks like the Eastern Conference is wide open. I thought it was pretty wide open this year, despite all the Boston lovers out there. But, as we will see, Boston appears to be very much on the decline. What with Tatum's injury, they traded away Kristaps Porzingis and Drew Holiday. They appear to be dismantling as they're running into some serious financial hell. But it's very interesting because there's all this talk already following the Thunder championship about, be prepared for this team to go on a dynastic run. And it's just not going to happen. We said the same thing about Denver. We said the same thing about Boston last year. 1 year later, Boston is tearing it down. It's not happening with OKC. The current situation in the NBA is not meant for that to happen. Yes, the Thunder have 3 young stars. They're not going to be able to retain those pieces, and even if they do, they certainly won't be able to retain the pieces around them. It's just not going to happen. It doesn't work that way. The teams run into these financial situations where they're running into the second apron and they can't pay all of the dues, the luxury tax, you name it. It's just not feasible. And if they manage to pull it off again, what then constitutes a dynasty? Because every time some team wins a championship, everyone's willing to say, here's the next Golden State. Here's the next Chicago Bulls from the 90s. Well, guess what, folks? It's not happening. OKC had a great season. Let's dwell on that for a minute. I know in my industry, this industry of sports media, where people are just willing to fly off the handle and are always on to the next thing, we need to just dwell and appreciate the fact that OKC had a fantastic year and a fantastic championship run in these playoffs. And they won the title, but we always just spend like half a minute talking about that, and then it's on to next year. Will they repeat? Will they be a dynasty? Because that's always what it's about. It's always the next thing. I'm already seeing mock drafts for the 2026 NBA draft when the second round of 2025's draft finished up last night. What the hell? Anyway, I'm getting a little irked, so I'm just going to kind of back off, so to speak, and maybe cease talking about sports for the moment. And I would like to talk about my trip, because I'm not only going to congratulate the Oklahoma City Thunder, but also my Uncle Joe and my new Aunt Bridget, who were happily wed this past Saturday. It was quite a lovely affair. The ceremony went off without a hitch, and the reception was full of excellent food, wine, song, and dance, although the latter two, for me personally, were not quite seamless, as the following footage will show. Let's take a look.
Burn, burn, burn.
I somehow managed to embody a curious mixture of Johnny Cash and the Pied Piper of Hamelin. And it turns out, somewhat ironically, that the same gin and tonics necessary for me to get up and sing are not perhaps conducive to me being able to hit the low notes with all the competency that I would like. And they sort of loosened my already shaky grasp on the southern regions of the bass clef. Nevertheless, it was a hoot and a holler, and a load of fun was had by all. The night after I got back from Minnesota, I went to see the Bronx Bombers and cheer them on as they were in town to play Cincinnati. Here's how that went.
Yeah, so I'm 8 deep, and it's raining like hell out here, so we might be cooked.
We sat through the deluge, they played through the deluge, and ultimately, Cincinnati won in extra innings on a walk-off single by Gavin Lux, whoever the hell that is. And I involuntarily ended my night at 6 glizzies and 8 beers. It was a lot of fun, but as you can see, quite exhausting, to say the least. And as a result, I wasn't able to record until today. These two events being sort of combined with my propensity to slack off, being the primary culprits there. I would like to move on to our much anticipated segment,
Burning Questions with HuPAC.
And today we've got a couple of great questions from a couple of our loyal listeners. The first question is, what's your favorite toilet model? And do you have a skincare routine? Okay, so as far as toilets are concerned, obviously I've thought a lot about this, being from the town of Kohler. So, sort of in that vein, I would like to say that my favorite toilet model is, without a doubt, and frankly, there's no question in my mind that this is the case, the Veil Comfort Height Smart Toilet from Kohler. It is a delightful John that combines a bold minimalist style with the comfort of personal cleansing. It has a suite of convenient features, including hands-free opening and closing, automatic flush, heated seat, a nightlight, and a touchscreen remote. And as a result, this all sort of combines to create a product that is, very sanitary, high-performing, and luxurious for the user. It has a built-in bidet within a stainless steel wand, which is cleansed by UV light every 24 hours. And it has a variety of features, including adjustable spray position, flow, water temperature, pressure, as well as oscillating and pulsating functions for optimal coverage and thorough cleaning. It is without a doubt, a joy to use, and frankly, it's a bargain at $6,000 for the most inexpensive model. It is without a doubt very good value, and you can find it wherever your fine toilets are sold. It's definitely served me well for many years now, and I'm sure it will you as well. What the hell are you waiting for? Go over and get the Kohler Veil Smart Toilet today. I really should have a sponsorship. Do you have a skincare routine? Yes, absolutely I have a skincare routine. It is something I've sort of gotten into recently as I've sort of delved into the importance of practicing good skincare. And it's not really that intensive, it's not that complicated. It's just covering the kind of bare basics. And really what it comes down to is keeping your skin clean, exfoliated. And I'll just do this simply with some water and some different products, which I will not name here. I've already done enough plugging for certain brands in this episode alone. But like I said, start with cleaning. You clean, you exfoliate if needed, and then you move on to, you can use a serum for some revitalizing effects there. And then if it's the morning, use a AM moisturizer with some sun protection against the UV rays, which will inevitably find their way to you, especially if you live in a sunnier climb, such as I do. And if it's the nighttime, you're going to want to definitely use something that's very nutrient rich to help restore your skin barrier and keep you glowing and fresh. From Smooth as Butter, we have a question. Have you ever thought about having guests on your show or is this a one-man sort of thing? Well, yes, contrary to what you would expect from the first dozen or so episodes of this show, this is not long-term, at least in my mind, exclusively a one-person show. I hope to have guessed, certainly as we move on into football season and the fall and all the great sort of events that come with that, there will be plenty to discuss. I hope to do shows with at least two people, possibly a panel. I know that in the event of cooking shows, two people would definitely be something to kind of create a little bit of an extra dynamic, something that you don't get with these one-person solo shows where I'm talking into a camera like a psychopath. So yeah, absolutely. I'm very interested in doing multiple folks on a show, and I hope that is the case sooner rather than later. Just wrapping up here, I just wanted to make a note about the heat outside because it's killing me, folks. It's killing me. My car AC, it's trying its best, but it's not keeping up with this. This week was in the mid-90s. It is absolutely brutal out there, folks. So stay safe is all I'm going to say there. That's all I've got, folks. I know it was a week. I know I was off for a while, but there's just not so much to talk about at this time of year. Things are a bit stodgy. Things are slowing down a little. We've got some baseball action, but really until after the All-Star break, let's pump the brakes on commentary there because, frankly, I think a lot of it is overwrought and useless. Not that it's useful anyway, but that's besides the point. All right, so with all of that said, I would like to wish you all the very best whenever you see this, wherever you are, and I will talk to you next time.